Hello, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I just wanted to record something. I don't really know why. I just felt the need for speed, if you will. I am sitting at Glenbrook in the lower Blue Mountains, just on this field that I found, editing a YouTube video, and I just felt inspired and thought I should record. Australia, I just want to talk about Australia. I am constantly in awe of this place, and I was lucky enough to be born here, and I think it's just absolutely crazy, because it is so beautiful, and I'm slowly exploring her little nooks and crannies and neighbourhoods and communities, and learning more about her history and First Nations. And this place is so rich in spirit and in strength. Every time that I just take a second and sit on some grass or sit in the sun, I am constantly reminded of how beautiful this earth is and how beautiful this country specifically is, and I feel the need to share that. Sometimes, I don't know, I think Glenbrook is a really beautiful place. If we're going to talk about the place that I'm currently sitting, if you've never been to Glenbrook, I'd strongly recommend it. The Blue Mountains are beautiful. Glenbrook is really, really sweet. And I don't know, there's something really charming about the Blue Mountains and the communities and suburbs there. I think there's really something special about Australia, and I feel really grateful to be here and to be a part of it. And I'm going travelling soon, so I'm kind of just trying to soak up as much as I can of the place that I'm already at, and trying to become really grateful. Not that I haven't been, but become really grateful for the privilege it is to live in a country where I have access to all of these beautiful places, and it doesn't cost much to go and explore them. So yeah, I don't know. I've had a really interesting time at the moment exploring becoming connected to where I grew up and my hometown, my home neighborhood, and really, because there's that saying of never forget where you came from, and being humble in that. And I'm really trying to lay that foundation for myself. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but it's just I always feel this need to get out and to find something more than what I've had. And I'm trying to come to this peace and acceptance before I venture out into this big crazy world by myself for the first time. I'm trying to really ground myself and realize, you know what, no, where I grew up is a really beautiful place. I have been privileged in so many ways, and trying to see the light and the good and the positive about a place where one's grown up is, I feel, really important, and a really important part of my journey personally, because I don't want to leave this place with a tainted, I guess, memory. I'd like to have a positive outlook and be able to retain that, I guess, humble, never forget where you came from. And I want to feel proud of that for myself, for no one else, not for the place, not for the people, but for me. And yeah, I think Australia as a whole, being able to say that, yes, I am Australian, I just feel it's so unique, and I feel really, really blessed that I can say that. I don't know. I just really wanted to express some gratitude and share that, and maybe encourage you to explore where you can, while you can, before you go and adventure, or before you settle down, or just take a second to sit in a new place, in a new environment. And I saw this thing recently as well, where it was it doesn't matter what you do, but do something, because that something will provide you an opportunity of some kind. Like if you go on a walk, there is a chance that you might see a really cute dog, you might get to pet that dog, and that'll make you feel a little bit better. Or there is a chance that someone could talk to you, or you could say good morning, and there's an energy exchange with people, and there's just so many little things that you can do. It could be as simple as going and getting a coffee, or a milkshake, or a hot chocolate, or I don't know, a tea at a cafe by yourself, and just sitting in your own company and just putting yourself out there in the world in a physical sense of like moving to a different environment, even if temporarily, or like for 10 minutes, or just for a drink. Nothing could happen, but also something could happen. And like today, I went to a cafe initially. I didn't record there. I just was like, oh, I want to sit in my own company. And I'm really glad I brought my camera, because I nearly didn't, and then I would have not recorded anything, because this is the thing. I'm like, I'll bring my camera with me in case the opportunity presents itself where I feel like I want to record something. But I went and sat down at this cafe, and then this lady who also had her laptop out and was obviously working on something just started talking to me. And we had a really in-depth conversation about her son who's got disability, and how the lack of care factor in the world for kids and people with disabilities exist, and like the different companies and the issues with the companies and the medications, and what she's studying at university. And it was just like a really interesting interaction. And you know what, like sometimes she was talking about writing a book on the topic and speaking out about it, and she's putting in a lot of work in her own world and in her own community, and it was just really fascinating. And I was just like, you know what, like this is clearly something she's passionate about. And I was just like, maybe it's my naivety as a person, but I don't think there's any harm in hearing someone and encouraging them to fulfill what they feel is right for them. Like what she's doing is definitely not for me, and I probably wouldn't do it, or I'd go about it in a different way. But it was just nice to be able to sit there and have a conversation with someone who's on a completely different trajectory and path to me. Like, we're nowhere near the same age. Like, she's at university, I am not. It was just like a really wholesome interaction and human exchange, and just like storytelling, which I feel like is the core of humanity for one, but is the core of Australia as a place. Like, First Nations people and storytelling is such a deep thing, and I think storytelling is my favorite part about humanity as a whole. And it was just really like such a rich human exchange, in the sense of we both exchange different stories and experiences with doctors and medication and the way that this society works and teachers and all of these things that can most definitely be improved. But it was really nice, and I said to her, I was just like definitely write your book, like even if it doesn't turn out the way that you think it will, like once the knowledge is out there, it's out there and people can look for it, and that's not going to do any harm, that's going to do more good. And she spoke out a little bit more, and I was just like, this is really like, don't stop talking about this, people need to know these things. It was just like a really fascinating, I felt the need to encourage her. And I was like, you know what, like I hope someone is rooting for me like I'm rooting for her. And I don't know, sometimes people just need to be heard too. Sometimes people need to share their stories without judgment, without fear. It doesn't even necessarily need to have encouragement. You can just listen, and that can be it. And I think it's a really powerful method of human interaction. And I don't know, it should happen more than it does. But I guess what I'm saying with this is, once you open yourself up to energy exchange and putting yourself in places where you may not have usually gone, or you just are working on your stuff. Like I was just editing a YouTube video, and she just started talking to me and asked me if I was at uni, and that's how the conversation started. Like, and it's so easy to talk to people when they have the right energy. And I think there's a level of intuition that kind of your body and you yourself know that yes or no, it's okay to talk to this person, or do they want to be talked to? Because I know social anxiety is a real thing, but then I'm like, I used to be a very anxious person, and now I would say I'm less anxious. I still have moments of anxiety come up, but there's so much we can unpack here, but I find it really fascinating. And the more that you put yourself out there and do these things, the easier it gets to talk to people, and the easier it gets to like introduce yourself and like find out how you talk in a conversation. And there's just so many facets of being a human and talking to strangers and like getting to know new people that it doesn't really get talked about. Oh my god, B. Y'all, I don't feel like getting stung. I had a really good point there. It is getting a bit cold. The clouds keep coming over. And I'm not happy about it. I want the sunshine. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of distraction in this world and a lot of self-doubt that we create for ourselves as people, like to the fact that we don't want to talk to people, or we don't want to disagree with someone, or you don't want to hear their views on something because everyone has freedom of speech and social media, and we're just constantly filled with people's opinions and thoughts and things. And it's just kind of like, once you let yourself sit down with your own and you remove the distractions, like I don't have TikTok, I have Instagram and Facebook, but my notifications are turned off on them. The only one that I have notifications on is YouTube, because that's one I care about. But it's purely because with them off, I still get distracted with all the noise on those apps, because they are made to trick your brain and to get you hooked. And it's just crazy how much of that affects our social lives as humans, because we are a social race, and we are meant to be social, even if it is with strangers. Like, and there's this whole thing of like, don't talk to strangers, but it's like we don't actually. Wow, loud birds. I don't know. There's a lot of layers. There's a lot of layers to this that I could go on and on and on about. It was really nice today to have a conversation with a lady that was just super random. It's just like a random encounter in a game, and you learn so much about yourself and about other people in this world, and that I feel like conversations like that give me perspective for myself, in the sense of she's experiencing such a different life than I am, and we're both on completely different paths, and we can agree and disagree, and that's humanity. And there was no bitterness, there was just listening and hearing, and like, oh, that's a really interesting perspective, like. And it was just like an intellectual conversation. I maybe didn't understand everything that she was talking about, which encourages me to learn more, because I'm like, wow, like this lady has lived, like she's done 3 degrees at university and she's on to another one, like, well, whoa, this is crazy. And it was just such an interesting exchange. And I feel like people don't put themselves out there as much anymore, but it's getting better, and there are a lot of people that are getting out there more, which is really, really lovely to see. But that's my goal as well, is I really want to get back, for myself, like I really want to get back to basics of humans. Like, what do we thrive in? What do we actually need in life? Because even the other day, I was in the city in Sydney, and I was going past, I think it was Pitt Street Mall, and there were all these, like, all the designer shops, like Fendi, Cartier, YSL, Prada, I think was there too. But it was just like all of these designer shops, and I was like, I could go in and I could buy something designer and flex it on my Instagram, or like show it off to my family and be like, oh, look what I bought, ha ha ha. And it's just like such an egotistical, like, material thing for someone who, I personally don't need that. I have enough handbags, or I have enough jewelry, and I have more than enough. I have more than I need, and I don't need any more. And I was like, even if I was a millionaire and had an excess of money, I don't think there is a part of me that would outwardly go and buy these things because I genuinely do not need them. I have no need for them. And I've been trying to get back to the humble humanity of like, what do we need? What do we not need? What am I living life for? And why am I stressing about these materialistic aspects of society when I could be worrying about my joy and my inner child? And that was something I really thought about today, and maybe I might put up the photo, but I have this photo frame of, it sounds self-centered, which it is, but not in a bad way. I feel like it's not in a bad way. I have a photo frame of me as a baby and as, I think, like an 8-year-old or 10-year-old or something. And it's just in a photo frame, and it's on my bookshelf in front of all of my journals, in the past, my diaries. And it serves as a reminder for me to live by her standards. Little Jenna is a force to be reckoned with. Like, she is so playful and powerful and passionate, and she knows what she wants. And when I tap into her and feed her soul, which is my soul, and when I realize and remember that we are one, and without her I'm sad. Without her, I'm sad. Little Jenna is my joy. She's my pride and joy, and that photo serves as a reminder for me in that. So I think that that's really helpful. And then I think as well, it's like just having that as a reminder, that photo frame keeps me in this grounded, humble reality of humanity of, oh, this is what we're meant to be living for. Like, the bag doesn't matter, the shoes don't matter, the priorities shift when you really dig in and figure out what you want. And what I want and what you want may be two completely different things. Like, I know for some people the material is a goal that they'd like to hit, and it's something for them to work towards and to achieve, and I completely understand that and believe in that. And I thought that was me for a little bit there, and then I realized, I was like, this is not, if I'm getting there, this is not the way I want to get there, and I'm forcing myself to do things that don't align with who I want to be and what I want to be and what I want to see in my life. Like, I think everyone has a different purpose on this earth, and I think that everyone has to go through their own journey to get there, and I think that we're meant to help and hear each other get there. And that felt like what today was, and it was just another reminder of, oh my gosh, like, I'm not the only person on this earth either. I'm not the only person who has dreams or desires, but we all have access to our dreams and desires if we want to, because this world provides, when it's meant for you, whatever's meant for you is meant for you, and it's waiting for you. It's just whether or not you allow yourself to get there. And really interestingly, on the topic of inner child and connecting back with that humanity, I'm reading Stephen King's It at the moment, and it took me a really long time to, like, I tried to read it, I think 3 times before this, but I really committed. I was like, this is my first time reading a horror book. I'm committing. This is a big ass book. We're going to do it. And so I think I'm just at halfway through the book now, but there's this really, like, he dedicated the book to his kids, and I was like, that's really weird because this book is about killing kids. But as I'm reading it, I'm slowly starting to understand, and I'm learning it's a really, really beautiful story in the sense of, he keeps mentioning that the reason why the kids can see the things that it does is because the kids are powerful and they see the truth and they see the magic. And I believe that so much still. And I believe that when our inner child is being fed and being, like, is thriving within ourselves, our life thrives. The magic is there. We see it all. We feel it all. And, like, kids have this intuition. And when I think about little me, I'm like, yeah, she did have this intuition, and she knew things before I did. Now, like, I don't know. Kids are very intelligent and are very misinterpreted and very missed in today's world. And I feel, well, in every world beforehand, because they're just kids. They're just kids. And I think some people understand the power of children and their innocence and their magic. But reading the book, it kind of reaffirmed that for me, and these thoughts I've been having in my head. He was like, oh yeah, kids have these intuition and this kind of inner knowing that slowly dies as they become an adult. And I was like, how sad is that? Because our society is made to kill that part of us, and like schooling is made to kill that part of you. And it's, I don't know, there's a whole lot. This is just a giant yap session of my thoughts in my brain, and I hope you're having a wonderful time listening to it. But yeah, there's so much, and it's just like, I want to get back in touch with that, because that's powerful. And I don't want to go back to being a child. That's a bit different. I want to work with my inner me to achieve my dreams and her dreams, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, and that's my path and my journey. And I'm hoping that like maybe this can inspire you, and I'm sharing these stories and these things with you because I feel like there is something to be learned from it or gained from it, or you realize you're like, oh, that's not for me, and then you find something that works for you, or like there's just interesting things. And I feel like if you don't know, the whole conversation I had with this lady at the cafe was, if people don't know, they don't know. And if they're that disconnected from themselves or their world or their kids or whatever, bad stuff tends to happen. And it's just this little fester of bad energy, like, and it manifests in itself. But it's like, if the knowledge is out there and the people that need to hear it will find it, that's all you can do. And that's why I make these videos, is because my goal when I was younger was to at least make one person smile or help them in some way, just one person. And I think that's a really beautiful goal, and I still have that today. And I guess the same thing still applies, but it's also, I want people to know that there's a different way out there. I want people to know that there is light, and that you can change things, and that you can work internally. It doesn't have to be big changes. It can be little, and it can be big. It can be whatever you make it, because it is your life at the end of the day. And yeah, I don't know. Life is a really funny thing, and we're constantly going to be learning about it and questioning it and gaining knowledge from it. But I think it's important to share that, and storytelling is such a rich part of that. And going back to the original point of this video, I feel like Australia is such a rich place in its power and knowledge, and the earth and the people and the spirit. It's feeling very, very inspired by the land today. And just looking at the trees and thinking about how much history they've seen, how much time, how many people have passed them or touched them, or it's truly an incredible place to be. And we can have time to appreciate the place. We can have time to appreciate ourselves. We can have time to work on ourselves and work on making the place better and the people better. And it's just going to be a constant. Life is a constant, and that is the one consistency. The one consistency is life will keep giving, and one consistency is that we will all die at some point. So it's kind of like, what are you going to do with your time here? And we're not all here at the same time on this earth. You're not here watching this video without it being, it's not a coincidence that, where I'm going with that is it's not a coincidence that we're all here at the same time, and that we're all part of this journey together. And I think when you look through a lens of love, if you will, it changes everything. Everything changes when you look through that lens. So I don't know. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, noon, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And I hope this video shed some light for you, made you smile, made you think, made you cry. I don't know. Made you. I hope you are yourself always. And I hope you grow and thrive in this world, and I hope you learn from the land of where you are, because it is beautiful. Australia is beautiful, the world is beautiful, and I don't know, man. There's a lot to be learned from Mother Nature, I believe. In the sunshine, get some sun, hydrate. Actually, let's drink some water. That's how we're going to finish this. Cheers.